I think every person has a longing to be free, to feel free. Freedom isn't doing everything you like, because we are people who live together. We have to take care of each other. So that's why it's called inner freedom, the freedom you feel inside of yourself. It's being at ease with yourself, the good and the bad. They're both there. Every good aspect has the counter side in us. And we have to meet everything to find the middle. I remember when I was in the stage of really working hard of myself. I really wanted to clear my ego. It only seemed to become more and more and more what I had to clear, until I realized that it was ego itself that was doing the talking. And what we need to remember is that our true nature is divine. Our essence is divine. It's the spark of God, of Source, or how you want to call it. It's the purity you are within.
In terms of my own personal story, I finally realized that seeking itself was an obstacle.
Yeah,
And the story was simply the story. And it was important to allow everything, as you said, to allow everything to be, the
yeah,
positive, the seemingly negative. And of course,
yeah,
there's positives in the negatives as well. And just kind of honor all of it and recognize that the place I was seeing this from is the truth of who I am, who does, and that doesn't need any adjustment or any
no,
change.
no,
But
no.
I think this is a real common problem with spiritual seekers.
Really, because we when we start this journey, when we start, when we think, oh, there's also a spiritual part of me, I have to explore it, nurture it, or whatever. You start with the old paradigm, the old belief that you have to be a better person. You have to change yourself. And you think, oh, when I allow that to be my true self, then everything is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not true. Then you come in the same loops as you have always been. I'm not good enough, I'm lacking, I'm not lovable, or whatever subject is for you that pulls you down. And it only proves that you're lacking, because you have this ideal of how it should look like. But those are ideas. It's not a reality.
And that's why we can get pulled into, excuse me, false gurus
Yeah,
and false teachers and
yeah,
teachings
yeah,
that will present a certain way in front of a
yeah,
crowd, and
yeah,
then in private are behaving really differently.
yeah,
And it's very easy to create this illusion of what an enlightened teacher or an enlightened master looks like, and then try to kind of emulate that and embody that, and
yeah,
deny our own humanity, deny when we're feeling angry or irritated or frustrated. Uh,
yeah,
and,
yeah,
and and of course, those kind of seeming negative emotions are really valuable. They're assets because
yeah,
when irritation comes up, we can look at why we're irritated, what is behind the irritation, what is it here to show us,
yeah,
and so on. And again, this is why everything is included in truth.
And I remember when that I really needed to learn to become angry. I was 30 and didn't know what it was to become angry. Yeah, and I had a few cases, but I really had to learn it. And first I got dreams about the situation. I was really guided step for step when it's really good to be angry. And I went on, and then I also discovered that there was anger in me. And there was a lot of in me, but I was sitting on it. I didn't allow it to come out. So then first you have this explosion of anger, what needs to come out, until you can balance it. And then you know exactly when it's benevolent when you're angry and when it's not.
if someone comes to you, because they can come and stay in your place on retreat and so on, and you
Yeah.
also teach,
Yeah.
right? But if someone comes to you who's had a shift of consciousness or an awakening or whatever you want to call it, and yet they're stuck in these patterns and this conditioning, for example, they've been taught that it's not good to be angry. How do you help them kind of pull away from that and try to sort of connect in? Can you give any tips?
I think it's very important to explore where the anger comes from. Often it's triggered from things that already happened early in your childhood. So it's very important to know your triggers. What triggers you, and that you understand yourself, that you can be gentle with yourself, that you understand, of course, you get angry. So I always go back to the roots because it's so important to understand yourself, where it started. Trauma is frozen in time. It's an experience you couldn't process in that period of time because you were a child. So it was frozen, but it needs to melt. And it can melt through your own love, through your own gentleness. So don't become angry with yourself, understand yourself.
Yes. Yes. I do the same with the people that I work with as well. I'll
Mm,
invite them to investigate and have a conversation with the anger or the irritation and
yeah,
say, what are you here to say? What are you here to show me?
yeah,
Because there's always something, and as you said, there's always something underneath. There's a
yeah,
memory, or
yeah,
even sometimes there isn't a memory. It's so deep, it's been so deeply repressed
yeah, yeah,
that the memory has been forgotten. One of the easiest things I've found is journaling, or like you said, taking a walk in nature and asking those questions so that you can at least welcome, you don't have to love it even, right?
no,
But just welcome it initially,
yeah,
welcome that, anger,
yeah,
irritation, and
yeah,
welcome what it has to say, and
yeah,
then go from there. Again, from my own experience, I know that what I was doing was I was attempting to meditate and do practices to separate away from the frustration and the anger and the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
self-denial
yeah,
that had been pushed down. And again, I think this is really common, and
yeah,
it's that keeps the seeking game going,
yeah,
because very very few people want to really be with, once they've had an awakening, the kind of the dirty work, so to speak, or the
yeah,
difficult work,
yeah,
looking at your psychological makeup,
yeah,
and there's a belief that all of that is kind of fixed
yeah,
after an awakening, and of course that isn't
yeah,
true. No, it's
yeah.
still there, and
It's still there.
it's still functioning. You
Yeah,
could have had the most incredible shift of consciousness and you're still left with
yeah,
your psychological makeup. And of course the thing is history has proven that to be true, because we've seen evidence of gurus and spiritual teachers
yeah,
who have abused their followers, either through
yeah,
sexual, financial, or whatever means. And it's
yeah.
because the psychological you know makeup hasn't been addressed and
No,
dealt with.
no.
So it can be very messy, and this really kind of details that the dark night of the soul, so to speak. Although it isn't just one night, right? It can go on
No,
for
no.
weeks or months or years.
What I've noticed myself since my awakening is I'm not afraid of it anymore. That's the big difference
Yes,
from before and after. Before I was afraid of it because it was only the evidence that I wasn't good enough.
yes,
After my awakening, it didn't scare me anymore because I knew my true self is divine. So I'm sitting sort of backwards and observing it and feeling it and going through it, but it's okay. So what you hear a lot about being authentic. People talk very easy about it, but it's difficult because it means not being more or being less than what you are.
a big revelation for me was recognizing that there was a place from which I was seeing the anger and the frustration and
Yeah.
irritation, all those that were arising. And that place didn't come and go. That place didn't move. It didn't need improvement. It was always here and had always been here.
Yeah.
And that is the truth of who I am.
Yeah.
It's kind of the unchanging principle, or however you want to detail that.
Yeah.
And that was huge.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that while I was in the story of self-improvement and trying to change and trying to make it better and all those things, it was just this
Mhm.
never ending cycle
Yeah.
of self-development. And
Yeah.
there's no end to that, right?
No.
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with personal growth and personal development. These are all great things. But in terms of the fundamental nature of who we are, the truth
Yeah.
of who we are,
Yeah.
that that is pure and perfect. It doesn't need any resolution or change or anything. And it's this place from which we see the story and can recognize that there's been anger and there's irritation,
Yeah.
and and we can deal with it and be with it and not
Yeah.
be made depressed by
Nee.
what's
No.
happening.
No.
Because yeah, you can get really stuck in feeling really shitty about yourself.
Yeah, of course, you get so frustrated. You work so hard, and when I, what I know from myself, I was so devoted to meditating, doing this, that, and I would give the world for it. But it
Yes,
was still the same
yeah,
cycle. Not good enough,
yes,
lovable. But
yes.
I am love.
Yes, yes. And we all have our own kind of descriptors with respect to the things that we see that we're lacking, right? When you see it now, and I look at it now, it's kind of funny. But at the time, it's really painful. And
Very
it's
painful.
and it's very frustrating, especially if you
Yeah,
feel like you've done everything. You've maybe even doubled up your time to meditate. You've done more of the practices. You've done more
yeah, yeah,
self-inquiry, whatever it is that you feel drawn
yeah,
to, and
yeah,
still
yeah, yeah,
there's no
yeah,
change or little change,
yeah,
or you can feel fine and relaxed and
yeah,
calm for a
yeah.
period, and then something happens and you get
And
triggered.
off. You don't have to push yourself that you have to feel your true self because that can be another
Yes, yes,
pitfall.
yes, yes,
Just trust it. Just know, okay, it's there. There's
yes.
nothing to worry about it. It's there. Also, if I don't feel it, it's there. If I'm angry, it's still there. That eternal part is there always.
Oh, yes, yes,
And when you remember that every day, that's alchemy. I'm not busy with alchemy, and that's not a word I would usually use, but something happens inside of you when you really trust that your true nature is divine. You create a space for things to alter by themselves. You don't
right,
have to do anything. It
right.
happens.
Yes, yes. And this is such an important point, Jan. I'm glad you brought this up because speaking from experience,
Yeah,
I would have these moments where I was just swimming in bliss and
yeah,
there was this connection and I
yeah,
felt it.
yeah,
And it felt very natural and very beautiful and expansive and all of those things. And then it felt like it would go. And so there was an initial belief that I had to do something more to be
exactly.
able to get there. And I
Yeah,
also believed, and I think this is common as well, that when you get there, whatever there looks like, you will be in it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
yeah,
And of course, that's not true.
no,
The pure I, the pure self, whatever you want to call it, is always here. It's our true nature. It's our fundamental true
yeah,
nature, who we are, right? And yes, we do have moments and experiences where we're in it, we feel it, and it's just blissful and all of those things. And then the story kind of comes into play. And then we can feel like we're in the story and the self has disappeared and we need to do something to get back to it. But the truth is, as you said, it is always here. It will always be here.
Yeah.
And there's nothing we need to do to improve that
No.
or to be that, because it's our true nature. These are really key points, I think, because
Yeah.
again, you can get really entangled
Yeah.
in these beliefs. And again,
Yeah.
it's just concepts. It's all
Yeah.
concepts
Yeah.
about what freedom looks like.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I do encourage people to do is connect in with their intuition, or your gut, however you phrase it, is kind of a doorway, if you want to call it a doorway. It's no doorway. That really does help, I think, in terms of recognizing that the self is always here. And
Yeah.
do you have any other tips to help people kind of see that?
Well, your natural state of being is joy and harmony. So when you're out of harmony, in disharmony with yourself, it's always because of your thoughts about what you believe. For instance, an uncertainty comes up. Then you also can think, oh, it's an uncertainty because of my beliefs, but it's not me.
Yes.
Or a fear comes up and you can see the fear, and then you can, when you start to know yourself better and better, you recognize what makes you fearful. So you see it coming up, and then you reckon, oh, yes, that's the fear, but my true self is love. So it helps to get out of the identification. That's the most important thing. The moment we get identified with our uncertainty, fear, anger, whatever it is, then we're gone from our center, from our true self. And being at ease with it brings you right back in this harmony again, in this joy again.
Yes.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
helps to take things lightly as well, instead of getting really serious about the work
yeah,
I'm doing, to,
yeah, 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 yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean? So,
yeah,
so those things can really, or have, a good friend or somebody who really understands you, who can be honest about what's
yeah,
happening. And also, I always think, when I can see that I'm getting serious about something, I know I've gone off track.
yeah.
You can go into a whole maze with that, right? And get,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. As soon as you identify with it, you're gone.
yeah, yeah. And of course, the more spiritualized the ego becomes, the harder it is. Yeah, I mean, there's so many kind of pitfalls in terms of the whole process, right?
Yeah,
And the thing is, we can study other people's teachings and read books and do courses and programs. And, much of the time, what is shared is coming from that teacher's perspective.
yeah,
So you have to really, again, connect in with yourself and really connect in with what feels authentic, but also to test that over time. If it
yeah,
feels authentic today, but tomorrow it doesn't feel true, then
yeah,
obviously that's not your intuitive knowing or your pure knowing, or however you want to
yeah,
call that.
yeah.
So it really just comes down to, I think, keeping things simple and welcoming everything.
Yeah, and not being afraid of making mistakes. You have to make mistakes to learn. It's the only way we learn. Try this, try that, feel again. Always make the connection with your body. Your body is an incredible, intelligent instrument. It's amazing. It helps you so much. Your body can't lie. So you can pretend you're not angry, or you can pretend you're not nervous, but your body feels different. Respect it, feel it, say it's okay.
Just after awakening and then pre-shadow work, before I started looking at,
Yeah,
all of that, I noticed that whenever there was discomfort, if someone said something or I was asked to do something that I felt stretched me or whatever, there'd be this kind of pulling back, there'd be a shrinking, a kind of
yeah, 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 yeah,
inside. And that was just so, and then a feeling that I wanted to protect myself. And
yeah,
I think that's fairly common. And there was also this quality of shrinking if I was in the company of someone I felt had some authority over me, risked my job, for example, or could get
Yeah.
me into trouble, whatever.
Yeah.
All of these things we can look at and we can start to notice. The body, again, really, it's an incredible barometer
Yeah.
to show us how we respond to life
Yeah.
and our own kind of resistances and ways that we
Yeah.
distort, not to be taken advantage of, whatever the story is. But
Yeah.
it always starts. The first instinct is always kind of in the body.
It's faster than lightning.
Yes, it
So
just
you can't be ahead of it. It just happens. Your body reacts. Boom.
So I'm interested. What did you notice about what was happening in your body?
I would freeze. Just completely freeze. I was completely isolated in myself. It was terrible. It was really terrible. Terrible. I think it's the worst feeling you can have as a human, really, for me, is
Yes.
to feel isolated. It was often in a group, was happening, and it made me afraid. I would just shut down and I couldn't express it.
Mhm.
And it was really hard because a lot of groups was part of it, they didn't accept it. So I think it's really important to understand that there are fear reactions you can't step out of. So people
Right.
can get angry with you, but it doesn't work.
Yes, it doesn't work.
And it took me often a day to get out of this state again.
I mean, I remember when I was at the ashram in India, I was on staff, and we would do these trainings and different things, and the swami or the teacher would ask the group a question. And even before the question came out of their mouths, my heart would
Yeah.
start thumping
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
really, really hard
yeah,
because fear would come up in
yeah,
case I was given the microphone and asked to respond. This fear was just paralyzing, and I
yeah,
would be terrified of being the one in the spotlight and asked to say anything.
yeah,
Like I said before, before the question it was even barely formed, my body would start
yeah.
reacting straight away.
You can't help it. It just happens.
Another example, if I was asked to, meet someone in administration, I would start to get really anxious, like as if I was a child who was about to be,
Yeah,
called in and getting into trouble. And I guess
yeah,
this relates to something that happened when I was a kid. But I would always think I've been called to the office because I'm in trouble for something I've done or said. For
yeah,
the most part, that wasn't true. But this memory would kick off, and my body would go into these kinds of spasms and anxious contractions because I
yeah,
think I was in trouble for something that I'd done or
yeah,
hadn't.
yeah. With every human being, if we could understand that a bit more about ourselves and others, you're not communicating with each other's whole being. You're communicating with somebody's triggers, with
Yes,
somebody's pain, with somebody's history.
yes,
So it's very important to realize that everyone has a history and triggers. I often use the example when the manager calls 10 people inside to come at 12 o'clock. Each person will feel something different. When
yes,
they stand in the room and the person looks neutral, one person thinks he's looking angry, the other person thinks I'm getting fired. The other person thinks, oh, maybe this or that. Everyone has a reaction on the look of that manager. Everyone.
yes,
And
yes.
we need to realize it.
And the other point as well is that when we are in the flow, in let's say when we're in high flow, or however you want to kind of just
Yeah.
detail that, right?
Yeah.
We're in our authentic state of beingness, and
Yeah.
we bring that into a meeting or that into a conversation with someone. It allows the person we are with to be able to kind of let down resistances and be in their authentic self as well and have a conversation from that place. And I know that you've had this experience many times. And I think I read something that you posted on Threads the other day that detailed that as well. These kinds of moments are really incredibly powerful.
What I notice always with my clients and what they give back to me, that they feel so calm around me and also at ease with themselves at those moments. So they're not embarrassed about sharing everything what's going on inside of them because I don't judge. I just don't judge. I've been there myself. I know every bit of it.
Yes.
So it's such a relief just to talk with somebody who doesn't say, "Oh, you have that or that. That's not good." No, give yourself space. It's really give yourself space. I'm so happy, Julie, that I have feel that space inside of me, that I have space for myself, for everything what's inside of me.
Yes. And you can rest in that place.
I can, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and it's a sort of basic feeling that is always there, a sort of joy and harmony with being with myself.
Yes. It's kind of the baseline, I suppose you could say the baseline of experience or
Yeah,
living, or
yeah,
how you want to put that.
yeah. And
And
of course, if I had to talk for an audience for 1,000 people, I would be nervous. I'm not calm and totally at ease, but I'm okay with me being nervous.
yes, yes, exactly. More than once, I've had to, stand in front of I don't know how many people and give presentations and talks and so on and so forth. And nervousness will come up, but it's okay
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
know that, the truth of who I am
yeah,
welcomes and honors all of that, and
yeah.
it's fine. I don't have to, I don't have to try and fix anything or pretend that I'm this
No,
not nervousness is not there.
yeah,
And I think when you get to a place where you're really able to welcome everything, whatever it looks like, then that quality of welcoming is felt by others who
yeah,
come into your space.
yeah,
Just the other day, I was going out for a walk, on Paradise Island where I live. It's a beautiful evening. I'm just like listening to the birds, looking at the sky. And I hear somebody's blowing the horn, and I look over, and it's a friend who was driving her Jeep, and she rolled the window down. We just kind of said hi and whatever, welcome one another, and had a quick chat. And off she went. And then a few minutes later, when I got home, she sent me a message saying, "Oh, it was great to see you. I always feel so calm when I see you. Thank
yeah. Oh, lovely. Yeah,
calms me down."
yeah,
and I hadn't said very much. I just said, "Oh, hi, Anna, how are you doing?" So.
yeah,
Um, but I realized, what I've always said is your state does the work, and that's
yeah,
the truth. That's the
yeah,
truth of it.
yeah,
And a lot of that,
yeah,
as we've said, comes
yeah,
from welcoming everything and not closing parts of ourselves off, closing down away from that,
yeah,
and just allowing
yeah, yeah,
and being okay and not
yeah,
thinking, this anger is showing me something that, that is wrong with me.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So really, this is what inner freedom is about in my view.
yeah. It's not fighting yourself.
Yeah.
It's being at ease with yourself and everything within.
Yes. Or not trying to overcome and make it
No,
better.
no, because that's fighting again.
Yes.
That's judging, is saying, yes, I want that and I don't want that.
Yes.
No
And
shoulds and shouldn'ts.
yes. And there's something wrong with me and I shouldn't be
Yeah. Yeah.
in.
I really want to say one more thing about being authentic because I want to repeat it because I see a lot on social media, you have to be authentic or otherwise I don't have to talk with you or blah, blah, blah. People can be so
I know.
harsh, but being authentic is really not trying to be more or less than you are. If you are shy to talk about yourself, that's okay. That's okay.
Or if you're gregarious and outgoing and, all of those things, that's
Yeah,
great too, right?
it's also great. But it isn't that the outgoing person is more free than the person that shuts their mouth.
No. Yes, because that can be another view, right?
Yeah,
When somebody's loud and kind of very
yeah,
outgoing, they're free and they
yeah.
no. All right. So, Jan, on that note, before we wrap up this episode, would you like to just remind people where they can find you and what you have going on and what you offer? That'd be great.
Oh, yes. Well, I give retreats in Germany. There are coaching retreats and healing retreats. And I give readings online. I do also give coaching online so that it's possible if you're not living near Germany, then I can do quite a bit online. Even my healings, long distance healings, no problem. But it's all the work I do is aiming to get to know yourself better.
Yes.
And
Very
like, and what we talked about here, to be more and more at ease with yourself and to be able to connect more and more with your true self.
excellent. And I'll have the link to your website and contact details in the show notes so that people can reach out and find you.
Yeah.
You're also on Threads, correct? Yes.
Yeah, the green pearl on threads.
Excellent. Thank you, Jan. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I really appreciate you being here. As always, if you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. And if you feel what you'd like to ask questions, feel free in the comments below and we'll get back to you. So, once again, thank you very much. Take it easy, be well, and bye for now. Bye.